What is happening, y'all? We are back at it again with another video. I already posted my 5 for today. So as always, let's continue.
Could you use up to $800? Find it at BioLife. Up to $800 is waiting for you.
Think for yourself or the world will think for you. So this is what I thought a lot about.
Motherfucker. I don't have my output on. There we go.
Which is, to be unique, you need to have high agency. And so
to be unique, you must have high agency, high standards, high criticism, high belief systems. Without those 4 main key pillars, you will not be a failure. You'll be a success in my own standards. Which for me, I have high standards, which I hate to admit, but I need to get my shit done. I need to get my work done. I need to get my videos created. Because if not, other people will make it better. Other people will make it a lot easier for themselves because they know what the fuck they are saying.
from the things that you can observe or have observed. And so at the lowest levels, it's being able to say that you like a person, a show, a movie that most people don't like. It's thinking for yourself. Most people, and here's where it gets really interesting, most people pick their identities off the shelf, right? They come with pre-canned beliefs. They have a set of apparel that they wear that's the fashion of this guy. Oh, I'm a hipster, which means I have to have gauges. I have to have one of those beanie hats that's a small thing. I wear black combat boots, black things with the chain, whatever, because I'm a hipster. And all my beliefs are gonna be what hipsters believe. Or I'm a redneck. And so I'm gonna have flannel and I'm gonna wear a trucker hat and I'm gonna have jeans and I'm gonna have super conservative views on X, Y, and Z and whatever. I'm gonna live in the country and I want a ranch. All right, there's nothing wrong with doing that. It's just that most of the time when you pick your belief set and you pick your personality off the shelf, the reason that you do that is because you didn't actually reason for yourself. Meaning there's probably not 100% of hipster worldviews that you agree with. There's not 100% of redneck worldviews that you believe with if you believe in that if that's you, right? And so if you actively think about all the components of your life, which is like, what shoes will I wear? Why do I pick these shoes?
Everything in life, you have a choice. You can change, you can evolve, you can grow, you can learn, you can achieve. Everything has a standard. Whatever you choose right for you. Because nobody else would choose the other option. Because you are afraid. You're scared. You're afraid of that approval. You're afraid of that criticism. You're afraid of that understanding. Everything requires fear. Everything requires being afraid. Without being afraid, you may never know where this life will lead you to. You may never know where this understanding will bring you. You may never know where this thought process will lead you to. Because you are only afraid of whatever it is you're truly trying to say, unlock, do, believe, achieve, whatever it is. You're afraid of something. Whatever this so-called something is, you may never know until you fully make the thing that you're trying to do. Say the thing you're trying to say. Believe the thing you're trying to believe. You may never know until you have those hard conversations. Which means you may never know until you truly unlock or achieve the version of yourself that you are wanting to achieve. Or becoming that better version.
What makes a good shoe for me? Why do I wear these shorts? What makes a good short for me? Why do I wear this shirt? As silly as that may sound, you choose every single component of your life, and you either choose...
You choose every single component, you choose every single choice, you choose every single thing now. So grab your handle, grab your dick, and wrap it around a fucking telephone pole. Okay? Because when you wrap it around a fucking telephone pole, then you will know. You will understand. You will do the things that you are afraid to do. So don't waste your life. That's all that I request, is for you guys not to waste your life, because I've already wasted so much of mine. That's why I wish nobody to have the vision of myself or whatever it is, because you're truly trying to unlock that better version.
You live it by default or live it deliberately. And the people that are interesting typically have multiple components that they reasoned for themselves that get put into one box. And so then when people see them, they double take, because they're like, wait a second, these pieces don't go together. And what does that do? It makes you interested. And so let's say
When components do not go together, it makes you interesting, makes you unique, makes you different than everybody else. I'll say this once, I'll say it again. You are not a carbon copy of your older sibling or of your younger sibling. You are a carbon copy of yourself. So do not waste yourself. Do not waste your life, because you only have one life to live.
that you have the body of a meathead and you dress like a redneck, but you quote ancient philosophers and you're also extraordinarily wealthy. That's weird, right? That's odd. And so if that's you, then you will probably attract attention. And so a lot of people want to live a unique life, but they take all their decisions from pre-canned boxes off the shelf out of the box. And so I think that asking yourself, what do I want? And does this thing help me get it? Are the questions that begin to lead down the path of agency.
Questions. Ask the right ones, and you'll get the right answer. Whatever the questions are, whatever the answers are, they are through the answers of whatever it is you're truly trying to unlock, say, do, think, act, or choose. You can choose your life. You can waste your life. You can do with whatever you want with your life, because it is your life. Nobody else will dictate it, to understand, to believe. Which means you may never know where your life will lead you to, which is the good part. I don't know where my content will lead me to. Hopefully I'll make it mainstream here soon, and people will start paying for my school. By the way, I'm keeping my school $10 for 2 months, and then after 2 months I'm going to make it $100, because I know the price. The price is way too good to be true, in my personal opinion. Because I say whatever I want to say. I do whatever I want to do. I think whatever I want to think. Because it is my content, it is my story, it is my dictation of my own business. And through this business idea, you may never know where this next opportunity will lead you to. Or this perspective, or this goal-directed mindset. You may never know when it ends, when it will end, and when it will continue. The way I look at it is that I want my life to continue. I want my content to continue. I want my content to flourish. I want my content to be unique to me, and only to me. So as always, let's continue.
Because if you approach every component of your life with that lens, you'll often find that the things that you took off the shelf don't. The politics you vote for, the people that the sports teams that you root for, all of this stuff that you've built your life around, not at all. And so having high agency is higher cost in the short term, because you actually have to make these decisions and also suffer the rejection of decisions that other people who might all dress like hipster not agree with because you didn't take the same belief out of the box or off the shelf as they did. But it's lower cost long term because you don't find yourself 10 years down the road wondering how you got here. How did I marry this person? How did I start this business? Why am I dressed this way? Do I even care about this stuff? Why do I vote like that? You got here because you never questioned your decisions and just went with the flow.
When going with the flow, it is way too constrained, way too one-sided. Whatever the flow is, whatever the understanding is, whatever the belief is, whatever the understanding pattern changes. Everything will change for you once you learn that your life will need to change first until you can understand whatever it is you're truly going through.
You went with what everyone else was doing, but everyone else is unhappy, mediocre, overweight, in debt, and divorced. Why would you be like them? And so the only way out is by turning inwards and saying, what do I want? And does this thing help me get it? And if the conclusion that you come to is different than everyone else's, great, because you don't want to be like them. So you should hope to find discrepancies between what you decide and what other people decide, because it means you have begun the path of thinking for yourself. Maybe you like a movie that your friends don't like. Instead of saying, oh, I mean, it's okay. Don't hold back. Be like, I think it's a great movie. They're like, well, you're... Why do you wear jean shorts? Alex, why did you wear the little sandals for 2 years that I wore that were really weird? Because at the time, those shoes served what I wanted. Because I was at the beach a lot, because Layla and I were traveling, and so I was like, I wanted something to go to the gym, I want something to go to the pool, I want something to go to the beach, I want something they can climb, I want something to go to a restaurant. That's why I was closed-toe shoes. It gets me everything I want. Great. Alex, it doesn't look cool. To who? Who does that look not cool to? Girls? I'm married. I don't give a shit. Who does that not look cool to? Guys? Why do I care what they think? Right? I don't even know how to say it any different. Like, why would I care about any of that? They're not walking in my shoes, quite literally. These are comfortable. And if you don't like them, wear whatever shoes you want.
You can wear, you can do, you can act, you can believe, you can achieve, you can do whatever you want with your life now. I'm not gonna waste mine. So please don't bring me down with you and waste yours, because I'm sick of it. I'm done with it. And I'm not going to change. I'm going to continue on doing what I want to do, saying what I want to say, thinking how I want to think. Because without me thinking, without me understanding, I may never know what this life will lead me to.
Right. And so I think that and this actually has a tie into marketing, which I think is important, which is like, if you want to make content, you want to build a brand of some kind. The brand has to get built from the bottom up. You have to reason from that perspective. What do I want? Does this help me get it? And when you think that way, you actually be able to build a unique brand, because no one will have the same exact life experience as you. And when you do that, that is what creates the unique combination, and you'll be able to defend why you believe what you believe. Because if you cannot explain why you believe what you believe what someone else told you to believe.
Let me ask you a question. Have you ever felt like you can't take a vacation without spending half your time on your laptop, or delegating feels super risky because...
and you never questioned it? Number 6, a hard conversation up front can save you millions of dollars and years of life. So Rockefeller said this, which is, a friendship founded on business is better than a business founded on friendship. So the big thing here is, I used to hear people say, I only can do business with people via handshake. And people that I just met when I was really young were like, oh, if we have to draw a contract, I don't want to do a deal. And I was pressured into doing handshake deals when I was younger with people that were, quote, more experienced, because I didn't want to seem, disintegrous or unintegrous, right? A dishonest person. Oh, I need a contract. And then I just realized they were complete scoundrels and full of shit. And so then I went the other extreme, which was like, everything has to be in contracts, which I think by and large would serve you really well for anybody who's starting out your first 10 years in business. If you do 10 years of business with someone, you will be able to get to the point where you can have handshake agreements. But you do not extend trust to someone who has not earned it. And I think...
Ooh, that's a good one. You do not extend trust to where they earn it. You extend trust to where you earn it. To your standards, to your deprivation, to your beliefs. Because without believing in your standards, in the trust of your relationships, those relationships will be only dictated on one thing. And that's to their expectations and their trust and their beliefs. So don't take things for granted. don't act on things that you do not want to act on.
That there's different levels of this. If an employee comes to the business, of course, like you have to extend trust, right? But if we're talking a business partnership, well then like we should have a track record here. We should have a large data set of behavior that I can look at in different circumstances where I know that you will behave in this way. And so for me, trust is believing that the person will act in ways that are similar to the way they have continued to act in the past, right? They're consistent. And I want to be real with you for a second. So I said this year was a tough year. I had 8 lawsuits this year, right? And most of them were at the very beginning of the year, and I dealt with almost all of them. And here's the part that people won't tell you. All my lawsuits have been with people who are friends of mine or friendly. And if you're like, well, I can't believe that he would get in arguments over his friends. What do you think divorces are, right? Like, we humans think that we're somehow immune of like, no, I'm really cool with this guy. We're best friends. I don't think we're ever going to get in an argument. Okay, well, consider this. People who sleep with each other for extended periods of time, make life commitments to each other, half the time end it. So if you think the most important relationship in your life where you're sharing everything with this person, you're committing to forever, half the time it ends, maybe, just maybe, write down a fucking contract. And the reason that I honestly had a lot of these lawsuits is because
I'll see you in the next one, and as always, stay yourself and be you. Peace.